Welcome to all our friends joining us this morning for Church School at Church by the Sea from Miss Valerie and Miss Joanne. Our story today is titled God's Love Grows. And I hope that you were all good shepherds this week. And so that by shepherding and showing our love, we have helped the love grow in the people around us and in ourselves. This story tells us about Jesus and his friends visiting a vineyard. And in a vineyard, they grow grapes. So I brought a bunch of grapes so you could see what was growing on the vines in the vineyard. Growing is something that we all understand. I know you've all been growing taller since the last time we were together. You all love being measured to see how many inches you have grown. But eventually you will stop growing taller. And so your clothes will wear out rather than getting too small. But surprisingly, your hair never stops growing, and neither do your nails. But the rest of you only grows this away, not this away. Strangely, but like all living creatures, plants, trees, flowers, all grow if they have food, water, and usually light and sunlight. Everything needs that, like we do, and plants do, and flowers and trees, and all of the animals. But what about our brain and our feelings? How we understand things? How do they grow? They never stop growing either, because there's so much knowledge to be learned. We all learn something new every day. And that is what we enjoy. We go to school, we read, we listen to experts, we ask questions, we feed ourselves with all the exciting answers and discoveries. Let's listen to how Jesus used the visit to the vineyard to show his friends how God's love grows in them. Perhaps you could start us with a prayer, Miss Joanne?
Yes, of course. Fold your hands, bow your heads, and open your heart. Dear God, we are happy to hear the good news of your love. Help us to share your love with others. Amen.
Amen. A long time ago, in a land far away, there was a large vineyard. The gardener who cared for the grapes in this vineyard worked very hard to look after the plants so that they would stay healthy and grow good grapes.
Every year, the branches on the vines would produce big, big bunches of grapes. As the gardener looked after the vines, the grapes would grow and grow until they became ripe and juicy. They were very good.
One day, Jesus and the disciples walked through the vineyard, looking at the wonderful growth of the vines. They saw how strong and healthy the vines were, and they gently touched the plants, smelled the grapes. I don't know how to smell them. And wondered how many grapes would grow on the vines. Just then the gardener arrived and asked if they would like to taste the fruit.
Yes, please, everyone said. Jesus and the disciples sat down and watched as the gardener carefully picked a big bunch of grapes and passed them around. They tasted delicious. Jesus looked at the grapevines and looked at the disciples.
I have something very important to tell you, said Jesus.
Everyone listened very carefully. What was Jesus going to say?
Jesus smiled and spoke gently. Imagine that God is the gardener and I am a grapevine. Let's imagine that all of you are my branches. Now, I'm going to send lots of God's love to you. Lots and lots of God's love. Now you are full of God's love too. What are you going to do with all God's love?
Well, I could share my food with someone who is hungry, said one of the disciples. I could sit with someone who is lonely, said another disciple.
Yes, yes, said Jesus. Now God's love is growing. Every time you do something loving for someone else, both of you will feel God. And God's love will keep on growing and growing, just like the grapevine keeps on growing. Miss Joanna, I think that you might have some good ideas of how the children can grow their love and help other people's love grow.
They can. I'm just hoping I can show. How do I get it back? We can make a love bouquet where we can send a message to everyone on God's love is with you. Peace be with you. We love each other. And today, here's one way you can take a coffee filter, scrunch it up, take your marker and make dots all around it, and just stick it to a straw that has this bend in it, and you'll have one flower. Here's another flower where you can do it with crayon in different shades of the color. And again, it's so easy with these coffee filters because they crunch up like a flower. And
They're perfect.
and hook it up to a straw like that, or a stick or a pencil. And then you have this one, which is really cute, which is just a round circle of yellow and then strips of any color you like, and bend them together and stick them to the circle, and again, put it on a straw. So you would have a lovely bouquet to send to people and say, think good thoughts, spread your love, another, spreading your love. So that would be a good thing to do for our days ahead.
Yes, growing, just like flowers, everything grows, I think, and we forget that. We grow, the flowers grow, the trees grow, love grows, caring grows.
I'm having an issue here.
So I had a couple of angels today. One was, I think you had this last week too, commitment.
Yes, that would be a good one.
Right, so I'm making my commitment to help God's love grow in me and share that with everybody else, and hope that it will grow in everybody that I can share with this week. So I think she's a good angel, that I'm committed to spreading love, not anything else but smiles and love.
Right. And there's so many that we can.
I've got to be efficient at doing it.
Good.
And a lot about being efficient. I think I'm a bit messy, but I'm going to try and be very efficient this week.
And thinking of more ways that we can connect our love with each other, as we're asking all of us to do. You do that when you get into school and you belong to different groups like teams, or you take lessons with piano lessons or do ballet. You're meeting people. So you're like the grapevine, reaching out to others, getting new friends each time, and making them feel comfortable by being a good friend, showing your love, kindness, and being like the shepherd. So that would be what we'd want to think of today, to show God's love to others. And remember that even though you're having to wear a mask now, you can still have twinkly eyes as a welcome. You can still call them by name. So there are many things that you can do to keep connected and share God's love, like the shepherd did.
I think it's like making it grow is the idea is it's like it will spread around. The more that we give it out, it will be catch my love and then pass it on to somebody else. So that it keeps on going around and getting bigger and wider and greater. So that would be something that we could really feel happy about helping spread and God's love growing. So I think that would be a good garden for us all to try and grow.
It's like spread your love, stay connected, be kind. And
Do you
remember,
have an answer for us today?
yes, I had responsibility and love and commitment and responsibility, because that was a big responsibility, or that is when you're caring for someone, it's a big responsibility. And imagine how many sheep you would have in a herd. Make your sheep today with Miss Valerie and see how many sheep you can make. And what responsibility. For instance, if you have a pet, it's a big responsibility just taking care of that dog or that cat or that little whatever you have.
You know, just life is, there's a lot of commitments and a lot of responsibilities, really, whether we are whatever age we are. We can be 4, 3, 2, even 1, but I think life is making good choices and spreading positive loving gestures to people, and so that they have a nice warm feeling inside of them when they've had spent time with you.
Right.
So we hope everybody has a great week. And we'll end with a prayer.
Yes.
Dear God, may our love grow every day. May it blossom like the flowers, gentle and soft, and be strong like the trees, lasting always. Amen.
Amen.
We're going to be busy people.
They have lots of jobs. You got to get out there, spread your love, make the things that you learned here at this lesson. The sheep would be so cute to have. Make some flowers to give to people. And
yes,
remember,
simple things just mean as much as anything else. And I think especially if you've made something, that gives it a really great value.
doing your love. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Miss Joanne. Thank you, David.
Thank you to all.
For some grapes.
You are our shepherds.